Welcome back to another episode of Way Too Wifey. I'm your host, respectfully Gabby, and in this podcast we talk all things dating and relationships in this modern day. And if you are new here and you are having issues in your dating life, if you're having trouble navigating this modern dating world, don't know what to do with the apps, don't know what to do with meeting people or building your self-confidence to get yourself out there and actually start dating, I am your girl. I'm an online dating coach, and if you are struggling in that area of your life, please hit the link in my bio to find out a little bit more about the coaching programs that I offer. Please hit the subscribe button, turn on your bell notifications so you'll never miss another episode. And then if you're watching this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, literally anywhere else that you can find podcasts, please leave that 5-star rating, and I will love and appreciate you forever. Thank you so much to everyone that's already done so and have been giving updates on where I want to live. And truthfully, it changes every single day. Literally every day I am set on a new place. Right now I'm kind of in my head moving back to Miami. I have a job interview on Monday, so I will have had it already. The New York job interview was a little awkward. It was a little maybe not for me, but we're trucking along. I honestly, if I did get this job in Miami, I think I have a good year left of me in Miami, and then I'm gonna have to move somewhere else. I really truly can do one more year, but I don't know that I can do anything past that. There's so many people asking me right now what my plans are, and truthfully I really don't know. I don't want to talk about it. Because if you ask me today, it's gonna be I'm moving back to Miami, but if you ask me tomorrow, I might be in LA, so I don't know. I really truly don't know. Also, it is a new moon today. Well, actually, by the time this comes out, it's not going to be a new moon anymore, but I kind of want to share what I do on new moons. So I have this little candle right here. I usually get a small candle every new moon, and I'll write down I'll do this on full moons, but it's a little different. I'll write down everything I'm trying to manifest right now, and right now, since there's so many moving pieces in my life that I need to put together, and I'm kind of starting at ground zero, new friend group, new job, building my business, building this podcast. These are all things I kind of wrote down on my candle with a Sharpie. And then I light it, put some cinnamon in it, and then I let it go to the bottom. I don't blow it out. I just let it do its thing. And then on full moons, put everything that I want to release. Everything that I need to let go of. So that's the theme of full moons is letting go of everything. New moons is more so new energy flowing in. So that's what I'm trying to manifest for the next month or so. It'll probably, hopefully, some of them will come true, but we'll see. Update on that next new moon. Are you someone who struggles to get them to commit? I did my last episode on the wifey qualities to get him to commit. However, this one I realized, why have I not done a podcast episode on situationships? This is something that we can all relate to. This is something that a lot of this generation struggles with. Every single client that I have worked with has stories of situationships or are currently in situationships, need to break it off. I'm why? I have yet to do a full episode on this. So today we're talking about situationships. Let's get into what a situationship is. So in my opinion, I think a situationship is where there's confusion around what the relationship is. You're not yet in a relationship. You're talking, but you don't know where the relationship is going. You have yet to have the conversation of what are we doing? Truthfully, I think a lot of us get stuck in situationships because we're scared to ask the question of what are we, because there's so much talk around oh, we had the what are we talk, or you're scared to have the what are we talk. And I'm gonna break down some ways to make the what are we talk a little less scary, because I think when you put it like that, it's oh, I don't want to be that girl, I don't want to be that person to say oh, what are we? I'm not going to be the first person to say it. But we need to be weeding through the guys that do not want the same things as us. Because to be very fucking honest with you guys, men will waste your time. They don't give a fuck. If they know, I feel men know in the very beginning what they want out of you. They will keep taking and taking and taking until you decide that you no longer want it. They'll take your time, they'll take your energy, they'll take your body for what it is. They will take and take and take until you decide that you no longer want to put up with that shit. If they have no intentions of actually locking it down and wanting to get in a relationship with you, you are seriously just wasting your time. I think once I started implementing certain things, I stopped with the situationships completely. I don't remember the last time I was in a situationship. I think at this age, I think I'm really too old for a situationship. If we're not on the same page, we don't need to be talking. I have other things to focus on. I have other things that are going on in my life. I don't want to waste my time pouring energy into someone, catching feelings for someone if it's not going anywhere. And if you feel the same, please stay until I'm talking about how to stop the situationship from happening. I have a lot of girls coming to me and my clients, my coaching clients, where they're like, okay, so I'm talking to this guy. I don't know what we are. We've been talking for months now. And I'm like, first of all, why are we talking for months now? If it's, been past 3 months and you guys have regularly been hanging out, hooking up, doing the most, you are in a situationship, my friend. If he has not locked it down by month 3, he should know whether or not he wants to put a label on the relationship by month 3. People know what the fuck is up by the 90 days. There's a reason why Steve Harvey, and I think I'm just going to keep quoting Steve Harvey in all of my videos now, but there's a reason why he made the 90-day rule of one to hook up with someone. It's because literally that's when you find out who someone is. People may show their true colors a little bit before then and, listen to your gut at the end of the day, and it's certainly okay to sleep with someone beforehand. I'm not telling you when or when to not hook up with someone, but I do think you have so much better of a shot of locking it down if you aren't putting more confusing energy into it by hooking up. Because when you hook up too early, I think that what happens is that excitement to chase for that has gone out the window. And then also that holds so much of your power as a woman, is holding the cookie is what they call it on Steve Harvey calls it the cookie, but when you're holding out on that, you are in control. You have the power. But as soon as you give away the power, the guy now has the power. He has control over the situation. So keep the power in your hands until you know what is up. And honestly, this is a true thing. If you are hooking up and there's no intentions, the intentions aren't clear, think about this. If you're hooking up with someone, going into hooking up, thinking, oh, we're going to get into a relationship after this. It's going to be great. He's going to fall in love with me because my sex is so great. I need you to stop with that train of thought, take a step back, and really think about it from a guy's perspective. This is just sex. They do not take things that seriously with just sex. So if he goes into it thinking, I like this girl, I want to see where this goes, this is cool, he's going to probably come out of having sexual encounters with you thinking that, maybe I still want this. Maybe this is we can go somewhere with this. But if he's like, this is just a hookup for me, and you think that, because he's giving you boyfriend treatment, that, you can change his mind after having sex. If you give him what he wants, then maybe he'll change his mind and, want a relationship with you. You're setting yourself up for a big fat L. That's not how that works. You have the power until you give it away. If you can, hold on to that for as long as you can. Aside from the hooking up, this is really what it comes down to. So let's talk about the vetting process, right? Okay, so I think one of the number one questions that I get a lot in my coaching is that when is the right time to have the conversation of what are we? And truthfully, I think in the very beginning, first date, first, second, third date, you need to have the conversation. What are we doing here? If you wait to when you catch feelings and you are dates down, you have hooked up already, you have caught feelings, you really like this guy, and then you find out months later that he doesn't even want the same things, you're setting yourself up. So what I started doing, honestly, when I was like, actually, you know what? I do want a relationship. And this is something that, I need to start being able to weed people out better. I used to be terrified of asking the question of what are we? What are we doing? Because I was scared that it would scare men away. I was scared that the right guy would be turned off by this. But realistically, when I started doing this, the men that didn't want the same things as me disappeared really quickly. The men that do want the same things are either now still in my life, or, you know, we mutually decided that it wasn't a good fit. So here's really what I started doing to weed out the bullshit. So I was talking to this guy this was like maybe last year. This was like over a year ago. But I was talking to this guy, and honest to God, I don't remember his name. Like, my brain, if something is irrelevant to me, I completely forget their name. We talked for 2 months and I do not remember his name, which is kind of like fucked up, and I like am concerned for my brain, but it's okay. Like, you know, you win some, you lose some. We talked for 2 months, and I was under the impression, he even told me in the very beginning, like, okay, like I could see myself settling down with someone, but wasn't very clear about it. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, we're on the same page then. So we ended up texting and like calling whatever for 2 months. And because he lived in another place, he was moving to Miami. I was living in Miami at the time. I was like, cool, like, this is going to be great. By the time he gets here, we'll lock it down and life will be great. So what happened was, when he was visiting and we would see each other, I was like under the impression that we wanted the same things. And then I think by like the third time that we had hung out, I was like, what are we doing? Like, I'm really catching feelings for you. And I didn't maybe say it exactly like this, but I was just like, what the fuck is up? What are we doing? He was like, I'm just going with the flow. And that, my friends, hit me so fucking hard. I'm like, you're going with the flow. You're going with the flow. Okay. Because before, it was completely different. So I was like, okay, we're going with the flow. When a guy says that they're going with the fucking flow, just drop him. Just drop him where he's at. He doesn't know what he wants. And if he does know what he wants, it's not you. As the hardest pill to swallow, it's not you. He may just be stringing you along. Guys will keep you in a gray area for as long as you allow them to do so. And for the 2 months that we were talking, I allowed him to keep me in the gray area because I wasn't exactly clear about what I was looking for. Fast forward, when I was like, okay, I'm never doing this again because that fucking hurt. I'm going to get very clear in the very beginning about, hey, this is what I want. Are you on board to want the same things as me, or do you want to, like, you know, we can just be friends, we can be cool, whatever, or you can just leave my life. It is what it is. Are you on board or are you not on board? Let me know now so I cannot waste my time. Fast forward to let's say March of this year. I started talking to this guy. I think this might have been like the first time I implemented this, and it felt so fucking good, so I wanted to share. Maybe not the first time I implemented it, but the first time I implemented it and had to really act on it, because I've implemented this before and it went well for me, and then this was the first time that I implemented this and it didn't go so well for me. So I wanted to touch upon that. I started talking to this guy. I met him out. A lovely man. I think I've talked to him about him on my podcast before, but I just like really liked this guy. Vibed so hard. We were cracking up the whole time. He was asking questions to get to know me. I was asking questions to get to know him. And in any situation, I'd be like, okay, like, it's clear to me. He's showing all the signs of like, he wants more out of this. He's actively pursuing me. He's actively texting me. I asked him like a couple times, like, hey, like, do you want to just text me when you're like done with your day and we'll talk then? He's like, no, I want to talk to you during the day, and like asking me questions to get to know me and my life. Oh, okay, like he wants me. Like he wants all of me, not just the sex part, even though we didn't have sex. But it was maybe like 2 weeks in, and I'm like, I probably should get more clear about this before I catch actual feelings for this guy. Oh, he was a little bit younger. I was like, hey, I realize that you are a little bit younger, and truthfully, I'm at the point in my life where I'm looking for something a little bit more serious and I want to like grow with someone. Curious about where you're at. I think it's really important in these situations to say what it is that you want. Instead of saying like months down the line, now you're forced to have this awkward conversation of what are we? Saying in the very beginning, like, hey, this is what I'm looking for. Then you can make the decision for yourself if you guys are on the same page, or if you're not. If you could still want to continue doing this, that's fine. But just know that there are repercussions if you continue to talk to someone that doesn't want the same things as you. And I also think that it builds the confidence of like, hey, I know what I'm looking for. I know what I want. I'm not afraid to share that. And times that I have said, hey, I'm looking for something a little bit more serious, like someone that I can grow with and commit to. What are your thoughts? Like, where's your head at? Like, where's your life right now? And I think that that's completely okay. You know what it is that you want. So if they're not on the same page, they're going to exit really quickly. I know a lot of guys that felt very uncomfortable by that left my life. And I'm like, thank you, because we're not wasting each other's time investing energy into each other if we're not on the same page. I think oftentimes as women, we're scared to ask the question because we're scared of the answer. We're scared that he may not want the same things as us. So we avoid the question and prolong the relationship much longer than it should be, knowing that he doesn't want the same things, and then putting us down this rabbit hole of, now I've caught feelings, I've messed up, what do I do? Instead of just asking in the beginning and avoiding that pain that comes afterwards. It's only going to scare off the wrong man that's not for you. And then he's like, damn, that really sucks. I thought like we could just like hang out and do our thing and whatever, be a vibe and we can be cool. But he wasn't looking for a relationship. I then had the opportunity to three choices I can make out of this. Number one, decide that, okay, he doesn't want a relationship. I can then continue on with this. And, you know, maybe it's going to turn out great. Maybe it's not going to turn out great. Maybe I can convince him. But when you go into it with that mindset, you're already going to set yourself up for failure. I knew that I've done that in the past. It didn't work out for me. I felt terrible at the end of it. And I don't want to do that again. So that option was off the table. Option number two was, you know, we can do this. We can continue to talk and whatever. And like, it just be that. Maybe we can hook up, like, let it be what it is. But then at the end of the day, it's kind of the same thing as number one. Like, I don't want to continue doing this because I know what it is that I want. I'm looking for a relationship. And the fact that you are telling me straight up that you do not want the same things, I'm going to, you know, continue moving on with my life. Or option number three, cut it off, dry cut, and move on with my life and find someone who actually wants the same things as me. It was fucking hard for me to do. I honestly wanted to text him all the time, but I was like, okay, well, if we're not looking for the same things, I think it's best that we like end it, because I don't want to like, I don't want either of us to catch feelings and then it suck at the end of this and we end up hating each other. I'd rather just like clean cut and we stay cool, and thank you for being honest with me. I think there's a couple things that can happen whenever you ask someone like, this is what I want. What are your thoughts? What are your take? Where is your head at? They can either say, yes, I want a relationship. That's going to give you the green light to go ahead and pursue things if that's what you're looking for. Number two, they're going to say, I'm just going with the flow, seeing where things take me, figuring out my dating goals. Like on Hinge, this stupid ass, like that's bullshit. They have this prompt, or it's not a prompt, it's like, what relationship dynamic are you looking for? And then the answer to one of the questions is, I'm figuring out my dating goals. I'm like, I will always X on those people. I don't care how good your profile looks, X. You haven't figured it out yet, figure it out. If they're going with a flow, I'm going to tell you right now, you're not the person for them, and they don't know what they want. You are going to waste your time. That's not even you may be wasting your time, you're not wasting your time. That is that you are wasting your time. Option number three is that they're going to be like, hey, I don't want this, and you're going to move on with your life, hopefully. Unless you decide that, hey, I can take my feelings out of this, we can still do this, we can still hook up, we can still do this. But just know that if you continue to pursue this person and you know deep down you want a relationship, you're probably going to get your feelings hurt. You're probably going to not attract your actual person, because I genuinely think that you can't attract the right thing for you if you're stuck on the wrong thing. If you want to delay your actual soulmate from coming in, then fine. If you need a little work to do beforehand, like, let that be your person to work out some kinks in your dating life. Just know what you're getting yourself into in the beginning. It doesn't have to be this, like, I think the biggest mistake that people make is waiting until you're months in to have the conversation of what are we? Like, it shouldn't be like that, and it shouldn't be that scary. In the very beginning, set the stage, like, this is what I want. Confidently say that this is what I'm looking for. And if you can't do that, you're going to continue to attract men that are going to use you for your time, energy, whatever, because you're too scared of actually advocating for yourself. So it shouldn't be months down the line where you're having this conversation. It should be immediately, like, it doesn't have to be immediately, but you know, first couple of dates, like, you should set the stage of like, what are we doing here? I've heard a lot of people say, you know, you can still say that you want a relationship and then the guy will lie about wanting a relationship, and it's like, okay, well, if his words and his actions are aligning, then you have no reason to believe that he's lying to you. But if he's saying that he wants a relationship, but then he's not putting in effort, he's making last minute plans with you, he is only having sex with you and then leaving, you guys are only hanging out at the house, like, these are signs that, yes, he's saying that he wants a relationship with you, but how is he acting? Are the two things cohesive? Or is he sending a different message by his actions? Also recently, I think I was like talking to this guy, was saying that he wanted a relationship, but then like would only take me, like didn't really ever take me out, wanted to just hang out at the house. I'm like, I don't do that. I'm like, you know what? It's cute, cool. That would have been really fucking fun in my early 20s, but I'm not there anymore. And if you can't like take me out and like zazz me, impress me in the beginning, I already know the direction of this relationship and where it's gonna go. So I'm not interested, but you know, thanks for your time. I think a lot of people, when you're ending it, it's like, oh, especially if it's months in and you're having that conversation, and then at the end of the conversation when they're like, okay, maybe I don't want the same things as you, it's just like, you have to understand that that person's not a bad guy. Well, he might be, I don't know, but he's not a bad guy for have taken that much of your time. Like, take a little bit of accountability. You never ask the right questions in the very beginning, and I think that is absolutely essential in dating. It's like, you have to be asking the right questions in order to weed out the people that are not for you, the people that are going to waste your time, the people that are going to leave you confused and in situationships. You know, I'm saying this as like guys doing this and then girls doing that, but it really could go either way. What would make a guy want to commit to just specifically you when you're giving him everything that he could want in a relationship? You're giving him the wifey treatment, having sex with him, hanging out, you're giving him the comfort, you are giving him all of your essence and being, when he knows that he can go out and still hook up with another girl, still go on dates with other people, hang out with other girls, because you guys aren't technically in a relationship, but he's giving you that boyfriend treatment. So it's like, what would make that guy want to settle down if he's having his cake and eating it too? You have to withhold certain things. Like, don't give him wifey treatment when you're not even a girlfriend. I used to make this mistake all the time. This is literally why I have this podcast. You guys, I used to give all of my energy, all of my love, affection, time to a guy, body too. I would think that we were on the same page, think that this is going in the right direction, and then getting shot down months later, and then them pulling away their energy because they realize that, hey, this girl's catching feelings. Let me make sure that she knows that it's not that deep. So he would pull away his energy, and I'd be like, wait a minute, what's happening? Like, I thought we were on the same page here. And then after, obviously that would lead to some kind of conflict. And after having a conversation about what's going on, it would suck because my feelings, my time, my energy has all been invested in this one person, thinking that we're going somewhere. My mind, I'm exiting all of the other options. Like, I'm not even, like, I have my boyfriend who's not my boyfriend to entertain. Okay, I don't need these other men. And I think that's where a lot of girls mess up in the beginning. Is like, keep your fucking options open. And I'm saying this to girls, but I really, to everyone, keep your options open, because I can guarantee you that person's probably talking to other people. And even if it's just like a texting here and there, like, you're gonna get really upset when you figure out you're not the only one. Even if you are just looking for a relationship, I think everyone's a little bit different. Keeping your options open has benefited me more than it's taken away from me. But to each their own. If you don't want to keep your options open while you're dating, I just think that you're going to be put in a situation where if that person doesn't work out, you're going to have to start all the way from scratch of like finding a new person. And I don't think there's anything bad with that. You guys aren't official. If he really wanted to lock it down, if he really wanted to be the star player, he would lock it down. Okay. And if he doesn't want to, there's other people out there. It's like keeping you in the mindset that there's other people out there. If this person doesn't work out, you still have something else to fall back on. You're not investing all of your time and energy into one person if that person isn't your person. But I'm not saying that that's necessary, and I do think that sometimes, like, I will invest all of my time and energy into one person because I'm so focused on other things that I'm doing in my life that even if this didn't work out, that I'd be okay. And regardless, I would have my own things to do and take care of. I think the last thing I wanted to talk about before we end this is that guys are so simple. They will literally move mountains to be with women that they want to be with. Like, they will take the time out to see you, take time. If they're rearranging their schedule, if they are making you a priority in their life, if they are taking the time to see you and make time for you and like actually spend time with you, these are the guys that you want to keep in your life. The people that texting buddies that are just, you know, stringing you along are just like there sometimes, but then they disappear for a period of time and then they're back when they want you. It's like, these guys do not have serious intentions with you. I've said this in a previous episode where I was talking about the texting. I don't think the texting matters, and I don't think that like in the beginning that if you don't hear from them for a little bit, like a couple days or whatever, I don't think it means anything. If they're disappearing, coming back, disappearing, coming back, and you just don't know where you guys stand, if you're confused at all, you're not the one for him. Because when a guy wants something, he will pursue it until he gets that thing. I think that women make it so easy on guys. One of my girlfriends had met this guy she was super obsessed with, really crazy about, and I was just like, okay, like, let him come to you, let him pursue you, let him pour his energy into you, because right now you are putting in all of your effort into this guy and you don't even know what his intentions are. She had a apartment in Miami that she was paying rent for. She literally flew to where he lives, got an Airbnb for the whole month just so she could see him. He didn't like ask to do that. When she told him, he wasn't even really that excited about it. If you're pouring all of this energy, if you're making it his life so much easier, if you are giving all that you have to this person, they're gonna accept you when they want to, because you're making it too easy for them. Guys love the chase. If you're making their life so easy, if you're like, again, I've used this example in my very first episode, but went to this guy's house to drop off like band-aids for him and like drop off coffee because I knew he liked coffee, and like I did the most for him, made his life super easy, came to him all the time, put in like my mileage on my car to drive 30 minutes to see him all the time, and he would never come to see me ever. Like, he never put in the effort to come see me or come to my side of town. If you find that you are the one pouring in too much effort when they aren't doing anything, take some time, reflect on it. Where are you pouring in your energy, and how are they pouring in energy into the relationship? How do you know that this is what they want? Have you had the conversation? Are they doing actions to make you believe this? These are things you need to be asking yourself, because yes, I get and I understand that you like this guy, but I promise you probably only like this guy because he is not giving you what you need. And I realize that because this is like coming from a version of me that had been unhealed. I was pouring in so much to these guys that didn't like me because I wanted to feel like I was winning over their love. Where are you pouring your energy in? How are they pouring energy into the relationship? How do you know that they want the same things as you? Are you both moving in the same direction? Or is this a one-sided thing? When it becomes one-sided, it becomes a situationship. That is it for today's episode. I hope that you enjoyed this. I wish that I would have seen this video maybe like a couple years ago. If you have any other questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. Reach out to me. Again, if you found any value on this, please leave that thumbs up, leave that 5-star rating, and hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any other dating content to better your dating life. Thank you so much for watching, and my sore throat is killing me right now, so I'm gonna log off, but I appreciate you all, and see you next Tuesday.